Hey guys, I am here in the library and I am going to record a video for you guys about the color theory. And if you just Google color theory, you are going to find out some pretty cool stuff. That Isaac Newton actually in 1665 was the first one to figure out the color wheel. He was looking at the rainbow and seeing how the colors complemented each other and in order, and he made a color wheel. And he is the father of the color wheel, I guess you would say. So today in our Friday Doodles, we are going to make our own color wheel. And when you do art, it helps to do a lot of practice playing with colors. And making a color wheel is a really good way to practice colors and learning how to work with them. There's a lot of things that happen. You learn how to make colors darker, lighter. You learn how to mix the colors you want. When you see a color and you want to mix it, you'll know how to do it. So let's start with that. So here we have and I'm going to show you how I am going to make a color wheel. And so really easy. You make a circle. I traced a plate and a bowl so I can make my circle. If you have some other way to make a circle, go for it. You don't even actually have to make a circle. But let's count how many different sections we have here so you'll know. We have 1, 2, 3 for our primary colors, 4, 5, 6 for our secondary colors, and then we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 all together. So we have 12 different squares, okay? So we're going to start with our primary colors. Isaac Newton figured out that there's really 3 main colors that make up all other colors, because he's a genius. So here I have just a regular little watercolor set, and all we need is red, yellow, and blue. This primary colors, this actually paint sets are already set up in rainbow order, which makes it really easy. I'm going to go ahead and use this watercolor set just because I know there's enough in here and I won't run out of paint. That one is getting a little bit old and so it's wearing out. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick up red and get a bunch of red. Now the rule when you make your color wheel is you cannot use the other colors in it. You can only use the 3 colors. And so you have to mix your own secondary colors, and after secondary is what Isaac Newton named tertiary colors. The colors that are in between the primary and secondary colors are called tertiary. So in a color wheel, usually you have the yellow at the top, the red over here on the right side, and the blue over here on the left side. So I got red first, so I'm going to go ahead and make red. Really easy. I didn't have to make it. I just am coloring the square red. You can use watercolors, you can use colored pencils, you can use crayons, you can use acrylic paint if that's what you have. Then rinse out your brush really good. You don't want to mix the colors yet. You want your true colors right now. I'm going to go ahead and pick up blue now, and I want to really get a lot of good paint. Fill my brush up with enough paint that it will last and it will fill the square. And then looks like I need to pick up a little more blue. Keep on picking it up there. Look at that. Thinking that I might want to use this blue over here. It might be a little darker, huh? I'm using a tertiary blue on that one. Ah, there we go. That's the cobalt blue we want. True blue. Okay, so when you're using a simple watercolor set, you're gonna not make that mistake like I just did. So there's my blue. Rinse out. I have a little water cup here. It already is giving away what blue and red makes because I mixed those. Now rinse out your brush really good and pick up yellow. If you did this in a different order, that's okay. Just only use red, yellow, and blue. So it's interesting now that I noticed blue, yellow, and red are on the same group for me right here. So now I can remember where my paints are. Okay, picking up a lot of yellow here. I'm going really slow, so you guys won't feel like you're behind. You're probably ahead of me. All right, let's fill our yellow square. There we go. There's our 3 primary colors. Okay, so now that I have my 3 primary colors, I'm going to need to mix those primary colors together to make my secondary colors. So get a paper plate, maybe. A lot of times you'll see when I'm using a watercolor set, I use the lid for my mixing palette. This one happens to come with a little mixing palette, so I'm going to use that. So I'm going to go ahead and get some yellow, pick up yellow. There's my yellow. And then rinse out my brush. I'm trying to be really careful that I don't mix the colors on my paint set so I can truly mix them here for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and mix yellow and red together and see what it makes. Wow, that is pretty fun. There's my pretty cool orange. I think I need to add just a little more yellow to make it a little truer orange. Wow, look at that. There's my orange. So I'm going to put my orange right in between the red and the yellow on my color wheel. If you go outside the lines, is it the end of the world? No, not a big deal. All right, rinsing off my brush. And now I'm going to go ahead and leave that color there because I might use it later when I'm mixing my tertiary colors. So now that I have red and yellow, I'm going to do red and blue together. So I'll pick up my blue. I need to rinse that off a little because I just remembered I got some yellow on it. There we go. I'm going to pick up my blue and put my blue here. Rinse off my brush and pick up some red. Now I know blue is darker than red, so sometimes it gets a little darker, but look at that. I feel like we're seeing pretty good purple there. What do you think? I love it. I'm going to get a little more red. Now I went a little too far. This is cool because you can see what happens as you add the colors. If you add too much of one or an uneven amount. Ooh, I think I have a better purple there. It's like indigo, which is what they call it in the rainbow. I'm going to go ahead and call that my indigo purple color. And I could keep mixing and playing with the colors if you're not happy with it. That's the fun thing about mixing your own colors is you can keep playing with them until you get a color you like. That's a pretty blue purple there. That's more on the blue side. If you don't like that, add a little bit more red to your purple. I moved my palette so you couldn't see me do that. And make it a little more red. All right, so there is my purple or indigo. Okay, so now I need to mix blue and yellow. And I know that if I put equal amounts, then I'm going to get like a super dark green. So I'm going to do my yellow first this time, my lighter color, and pick up as much yellow as I can. I'll mix it right here. Put it all on that. Squeeze out the brush pretty good. And rinse out my brush so I don't mix it. And then I'm going to pick up a blue, but probably I don't want to fill as much blue as I can. I'm going to put some of the extra blue here and add blue to my yellow. Yep, I can add more. You can see that if you want like a true darker green, you're going to add more blue. If you want a light yellowy green, you're going to add less blue. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with this. I feel like that's a pretty good true green that I made. I made that myself. I'm so proud. And I'm going to go ahead and put my green up here in the secondary color block. And voila, there we go. That's a pretty awesome thing. So a basic color is red, yellow, and blue. Secondary colors, orange, purple, and green. And you're going to notice that I have some arrows here. I am pointing to complementary colors. When you paint complementary colors together, it really makes things pop. So if I wanted two colors that really looked great together, I would paint maybe yellow and purple together. I would go with what's opposite on the color wheel to make it pop. Blue and orange, you know, I could go on the yellow side of it or on the red side, but it would still be blue and orange. So cool. So complementary colors are what colors that work really well together and make things pop. And sometimes in art, it's just a challenge to only use complementary colors on something. So now I'm going to make my tertiary colors. I'm going to go a little farther, and I have these colors that we mixed already, so I can work with what I've got here or use it for an example. So the next thing I'm going to do is a mix between green and yellow. So what I need to do is take that green I made and add just yellow to it this time and make it a little yellower. That's getting pretty good, right? I like it. I think I'm going to go for my color wheel. I think I want to add a little more yellow than that and make it lighter. Well, there we are. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call that my greenish yellow, my yellow green over here. And you know, honestly, you could make a circle with 100 squares and you could keep adding more yellow. You can do as many circles as you want, as many squares between the primary colors as you want. All right, and now I want to do the green and blue mix together. So I just added a bunch of yellow to my green to lighten it up. So now I'm going to add a bunch of the blue to darken it up. I think I might be back to the green that we had, the original green, or maybe just a little darker. I'm going to pick up a little more blue and see if I can go even darker. Does that look darker? I think so. You can keep adding blue, but eventually it's going to go too dark. So I'm going to just call that good. Let's see how it looks. That's a cool color. It's like teal. Green and blue make teal. And this is like a green teal. Oh, that's pretty. I love it. I like that color a lot. How fun is that? Okay. Now I'm going to rinse out my brush really good. And I'm going to pick up, I've got my blue and purple here, and I have my purple that I made, so I want to add a little more blue to that and see what I can do. Ooh, look at that. It went nice and dark indigo. Let's see what I got here. It's not as dark as my purple because I didn't have as much pigment. I had more water in it. But it definitely looks bluer. Almost looks grayer than that. And it's not as bright as that. So I'm happy with it for my first try. I like it. All right, now I have the purple and red mixed together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up a bunch of red. I'm going to need a lot because it was pretty dark here. And I'm going to add, whoa, a lot of red and a little purple makes like a fuchsia color. And this is like one of my favorite colors to paint flowers with. I like it. I'm going to stick with that fuchsia. You can add a tiny bit more blue if you want. If I were to do that, it would be kind of cool too. What if I added a tiny bit more blue to that? That's kind of cool. Add a little bit of that to my palette just for fun. You could probably take a tiny bit of blue and mix it right on the thing to see what it does too. Well, hello, that was cool. The one thing about watercolor or paint on paper, if you keep mixing stuff on the paper, you're going to pull the paper up and make little beads of paper, and I've definitely made holes in my paper before, so be careful there. All right, I love it. I think that's a cool color. All right, so now I want to go red and orange mixed together. I have my orange here still, and I just need to pick up a little bit of red and mix it with my orange. I have to keep rinsing out my brush so I don't pollute my palette. I want to pick up really good pure colors. All right, I like it. It looks oranger than that and darker than that, so I'm going to go ahead and call that good. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. It's a pretty bright red. It's nice how it just adds a little kick to it. I might add just a tiny bit of yellow on my paper. I like it. It's like a bright red, orangey red. All right, my last one is yellow and orange mixed together. And I've already got all this darker orange here. And I don't want it to get too dark, so I think I'm going to pick up some good clean yellow and pick a clean spot. I have very few clean spots. And then just pick up a little bit of that mix I have here and go light. Nice. Rinse out my brush a little bit. Might need to clean my water up. All right, there we go. I added a tiny bit more yellow there. Let's see what we get here. Oh, that's really cool. This is really fun. As you saw on the color wheel options at the beginning, you can do so many colors. I've seen some where they build colors going towards the center. You can get them darker, lighter, have fun with them. Pretty cool. So there is our basic color wheel. Maybe next time we will play with complementary colors and maybe do a picture or two with only complementary colors or only primary colors and see what we can do. Try doing some artwork only using those three colors. Don't let yourself use anything else. Only mix the colors yourself. The more you do that, the better you get at mixing colors. And you can look at a painting or look at a picture and say, okay, I want that color. And the more you play with mixing colors, the easier it gets to mix your own colors when you want to. So make your own color wheel. And then I would say take another paper and just play with your colors and keep adding lights and darks and see the different variety you can get. Try matching your colors too. If you made this color, try making it again to match and try it again. All right, have a great time and happy painting.